So welcome to my kitchen. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome to Cooking Today. It is no secret, we've talked about it before, that we are Mexican food lovers at my house. I mean, we love it. We make it all the time, and if we're not making it, we're going out and getting it. I mean, we love it. And I know for a fact that a lot of y'all are as well, because I've asked everybody on Instagram, and we have this funny conversation back and forth on who can eat the most Mexican food. And I mean, we just really love it. And since Sam and I just made chicken fajitas together, I thought I would show you what our favorite kind of little side items are that we put with our Mexican. So like, if we were to make those chicken fajitas, we would eat homemade salsa and chips with it. And then we would also make like a refried bean that is so easy, you're not gonna believe it. But it's like refried beans that have been all amped up and are so delicious. I put some jalapenos in there and some sour cream and some, let's see, cheese, which you know, of course, we love the cheese. And then we stir it all up and bake them down really well. They're delicious. And I've actually posted that recipe on my blogs, or on my Instagram before. And I think like almost 400 people liked it, and like 50 people commented on how much they had made this recipe and liked it. So that's a pretty good little testimonial, wouldn't you think? You need to try this recipe for these beans when you get a chance. But first, we're gonna make our homemade salsa. Now there are lots of salsa recipes, and you know, there are no secrets. I mean, salsa is salsa, so there are a lot of things that are alike across the board in all the recipes. I've just kind of tweaked this one. My mom has made one that's a little bit similar to this, but I've just added a couple of different little things to make it the one that we love the very most. And it starts with one big can. You saw that big boy, that big, I think it's 28 ounces of tomatoes. And I go ahead and do the full, like whole plum tomatoes that have been skinned. I love the flavor and the texture. And I just think that they're really the best way to start a salsa, you know, this way. And then I've added a can of Rotel, like diced tomatoes with green chilies. And I do the regular heat. You know, there's like hot, and mild, and original, and fancy, and fancier, and all that kind of stuff with all the flavors. I just do regular old original. If you want to amp up your heat, you can go for it. But I'm a little bit of a heat wimp, so this one can of original is just fine for me. Then, for a little bit of sweet peppery, I'm going to drain just a little bit of this liquid off of this small can of chopped green chilies. And you know, they're not hot. You know, it's like I say, they're almost like sweeter, I guess you would say. And so I really love the way that that kind of mixes in with that heat from those Rotel tomatoes. So there are 3 canned things. Isn't that so easy? And then what I'm going to add to it is a teaspoon of sugar, teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of cumin. And I've just already gotten those 3 things mixed here. And that's kind of your spice and your seasoning that's going in there. A little bit of sweet, a little bit of salt, a little bit of that yummy seasoning, Mexican seasoning from that cumin that I love. So we've got our couple of things that are canned, and then our couple of seasonings, and then our fresh is gonna be, let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and do a yellow onion. I'm gonna get a small one. Our fresh is gonna be lime. And you know, like Isaac and I really love it, especially limey, but my other folks don't. So I'm gonna tell you the juice of 1 lime, although I can say with my whole heart that I probably, if I were choosing to make this salsa just for myself to eat, I would probably do 2. I just love that. I love that flavor in there. But this one's pretty juicy. Got a pretty good little squeeze on that one. And so we'll just do 1 for now. You can meet in the middle and do 1.5 if it would make you happy. All right, and then our other little fresh that's gonna go in here is an onion and a couple of cloves of garlic. Again, what you would probably want to do is, you know, I always say to follow a recipe the first time the way that it's written. So I would say try it this way first. Try it the way that I've got it written. Then you can tweak it. You can add more salt, you can add more sugar, you can add more cumin. If you want it to be garlickier, I think I made that word up, garlickier, then you could add a couple more cloves of garlic if you would like. If you don't like as much onion as I put in it, then don't put as much onion in there. But I'm only going to do about a half of a yellow onion. And you could also do shallots. You know, I use shallots a lot. They're small. They're not nearly as kind of oniony pungent. And so you can always trade it out. But I'm going to do a half of a yellow onion. So I'm going to work on these garlic. I'm going to get them kind of a rough chop. You don't have to chop them all the way down since they're going to go in the blender. But I am going to give them a little tiny bit of a rough chop, drop them in here, and then start working on this onion. When we come back, we're going to add cilantro and whir that up and start on those amazing refried beans. This is Cooking Today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by West Rock Coffee Company.
Hi, welcome back. We are making homemade salsa and my very favorite baked jalapeno refried beans. These are my probably our two favorite Mexican food side items that we like to serve with our chicken fajitas, or if we make some kind of yummy like tacos, which we do a lot around here. It is my kids' #1 favorite food profile. Okay, so we've done our several cans. We did our big old plum tomatoes that we drained real well, a can of Rotel with just a little bit of the liquid drained out. We do want some of that liquid in there because there's a lot of that good heat and flavor in the liquid in the Rotel. And then I did a can of green chilies, and then I added sugar, salt, and cumin, and then we've put in about a half of an onion. And then I'm just gonna kind of hack off. This is not precise. And again, this is kind of to your taste. I'm gonna say, I don't know, quarter of a cup or so, or a little wad. Is that an official science like term in recipes? It's not. A little wad of cilantro. And then I'm gonna do, just for good measure, a little splash of vinegar, just the tiniest bit, maybe just like a half a teaspoon. Kind of helps preserve the color and gives it one more good little level of flavor. Okay, I think I've got it all. I'm gonna turn this on low and hold on to your hats because this has power. And I'm gonna stir that in this mixer, in the blender, till it's nice and smooth. And you kind of are watching for the chunks. Now, if you don't want it smooth, which that's how we like to eat it that way, then you can absolutely put it on pulse mode and just kind of chop, chop, chop it if you would like to. But this is very restaurant style. You know how you just kind of get it and it's all delicious and soupy? Oh, it's delicious. And right away when you make it, my boys are always worried so much about the color. It's not really red right away when you make it. It kind of has to set up a little bit and it gets a little redder in the refrigerator. Oh my goodness, is that gonna fit? It's not gonna all fit, but it's close. We're gonna pour a little bowl of it and eat it later. Okay, so there is our salsa. It is fresh and it's so good. If you want to add a little more heat, you could actually do some ringed jalapenos in there. That's kind of up to you, but is that gorgeous or what? Love, love, love that salsa. Okay, let's start on our beans. These are kind of the belle of the ball if you ask me. I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna move this over here for a minute. Okay, this is so easy and so good. Like, emphasis on the easy, but then emphasis on the good. It's both. I'm gonna grab one of my wooden utensils, and all I have is 2 cans of regular old traditional refried beans. And I'm going to scoop into my mixing bowl. I've got my oven preheated to 375. And these are gonna just bake for about 20 minutes or so, just until they kind of get heated through And then the cheese melts. And I'll tell you, what's so fun about these is that you could kind of eat them like refried beans, you know, like a regular refried bean on the side, like a side item. Or you could serve it with really good tortilla chips or corn chips, like an awesome, awesome spicy bean dip. So we've done both. So you're sort of getting a two for today. You're getting a side item and you're getting a dip. It's kind of up to you. Look how easy this is. So 2 cans of refried beans that I've just kind of stirred up. This is a little 8-ounce container of sour cream. And I'm not going to use every bit of it because it really does make it almost a little bit too soupy. But I'm going to drain that liquid off the top. But I'm going to use about 3/4 of a cup. Okay? And that just makes them so creamy. Oh my goodness, it's so good. And then I'm going to stir in a couple of tablespoons of these diced jalapenos. You know, I've loved these before. We've used them on other things. I don't love to handle a jalapeno myself. So I love that they've done it for me. It's so nice. I'm going to do a couple of these in here, gives it some good heat without the liquid. You don't want to make them, like I said, you don't want them to be soupy. And then we're adding a little bit of cumin and about a teaspoon of chili powder. And all we're going to do is stir this. We've added to those mild refried beans, we have added sour cream, which makes them so creamy. And look at this, it just gets this beautiful light color. We've added heat with our easy store-bought chopped jalapenos. And then we added just a little bit of spice with our seasonings. I'm going to put them in this skillet, top them with cheese, and bake them for about 20 minutes or so, and eat them up. They're so good. When we come back, we're going to talk about wood cutting boards, how to care for it, and everything else, because you see me using wood on here all the time. This is Cooking Today.
Iced tea, sponsored by Lipton.
What I love most about the farmers market is the music, the art, the food, the people themselves. That's local, that's Fayetteville.
Local means homegrown. My kids can run around, they can choose what she wants to get and eat.
I like growing and selling directly to the public.
The market is kind of what community ought to be.
Visit us Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on the square.
The Fayetteville Farmers Market.
100% local.
And love.
Hi, welcome back. We are making my favorite Mexican food side items. We made beautiful, fresh, homemade salsa that we've jarred, and we're just gonna let it sit here and wait and develop really great flavor, probably about 30 minutes at least or an hour, and eat it with some really good chips. I've got these beans that we've gone ahead and stirred up, and I put them in my favorite little 10-inch cast iron skillet that belonged to my uncle. And then I have a lot of cheese, y'all. Almost an 8-ounce block. You can do as much or as little of this as you would like, but it's cheese and it's Mexican food. So, you know, go big or go home, right? We're gonna cover the whole top of this, stick it in our 375 degree oven. Not 200, 300. And we're gonna cook it for about 25 minutes or so until this gets really, really, really melty and delicious. So while our salsa is kind of, you know, getting all good and flavored and our beans are cooking down, I thought it would be a really great idea to talk about wood and wood care. I use wood all the time on the show. I use it at home. We sell it like crazy at Unimaze. And it seems like we always have a conversation about wood at Unimaze, and people are always asking about how to care for it. You know, can they put it in the dishwasher and all that? So I thought that what I would do is give us a little tutorial on how to care for your wood. So first things first, everybody repeat after me. I do solemnly swear, go ahead, that I will never on my life put wood in the dishwasher. Okay? You've promised me you will not put wood in the dishwasher. Because, you know, you think about it, if you have wood floors or you have wood furniture that sits outside, it cannot take that moisture and it gets in there. Kind of think about like in the summertime how the wood in your house, even like inside when it's humid, it kind of swells and you'll see cracks. And imagine if you never oiled your wood. And so like think about this. So we aren't going to ever put it in the dishwasher. You don't submerge it in the sink. So you don't want to drop your spoons down into soapy water and let them lay there. You don't want to do that with your cutting boards. You don't want to run them through the dishwasher. So you've seen, I keep squirt detergent right by the sink. I squirt it, scrub it dry, and then just lay it on the sink or over to the side. And so you just get the good, get the food off of it and then let it just sit. And then you can let it air dry. You don't put it in the dishwasher, okay? Now, I will say, this is a little parentheses. The only thing you can really put in the dishwasher that is wood are these cutting boards that I use almost every single day. These are by Epicurean, and we have them at Unimaze. They're like a wood fiber board. It's why I use them all the time. They're really, really lightweight. They are wood, but it is dishwasher safe. This is the only piece of wood that can go in the dishwasher. It's very husband friendly, and so I let Sam use this one all the time because his instinct is to put all things in the dishwasher. And so this is a happy marriage board right here, this Epicurean board. Now, look at this board. See how where I've used it a lot, it's like real, real dry. And see how the color of my spoons are all really, really dry? And I've been using them and I haven't oiled them in a while, so I thought it would just be really great for y'all to go ahead and just watch. What I like to do, and this is not something I do every month. I probably do it about once every few months. It looks like an awful lot of effort, but it's not much at all. I get this really, really, really fine, fine, fine sandpaper, and where it's rough, I don't spend more than about, 3 seconds just going over it, especially on spoons. Sometimes you'll get a rough edge, and it's wood and it's got fibers in it, so sometimes those will kind of float up and they don't feel as smooth as they used to. This one's pretty new for me, so it doesn't have any fibers coming up. This one does. And so I just give it this, and what I do is just kind of lay them all out, and I just kind of do them all at one time. And then this one actually has started to splinter because I use this a lot. This is my spurtle, kind of your all-purpose wooden utensil. Yeah, so those just had some bad spots, and I just sanded them down. So did you see how easy that was? Piece of cake. Then, all I do, this is all there is to it. I get a roll of paper towels. You can get an old oilcloth if you would like. And you rub them down with mineral oil, and that's it. We have mineral oil at Unimaze. You don't want to use olive oil or canola oil or any food-based oil because it will go rancid. You want to use mineral, and I just rub a little coating on it and let it dry in. That is all there is to it. It's like putting lotion on your dry, hard-working hands. So I'm going to oil this board and oil these spoons, and when we come back, we're gonna have good Mexican food side items and pretty wood. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome back. We have a little fun double doozy going on right now. We've made 2 of my very favorite Mexican food side items, which is salsa and these amazing baked jalapeno refried beans. I went ahead and poured the salsa in these neat little containers with lids from Staub. I love, love, love this brand. It is so neat. Aren't these cute? Wouldn't those be fun, like lined down your table if you had company coming over? Wouldn't that be so fun? And so I've got my salsas ready to go with our chips And then look at these. Holy smokes. Oh my word. Refried beans in the cast iron skillet that we just doctored all up with, oh my goodness, jalapenos and sour cream and cheese and all kinds of little spices. And then just at the very end for pretty, we cover the whole top in pretty fresh, kind of rough chopped cilantro and serve those up. And we will have an awesome Mexican food dish and great, great dinner. You can serve these with our chicken fajitas that we made yesterday. And just to wrap up our wood treatment segment, the wood will sit here with a little oil on it, and it's a little bit thick, and you just want to let that sit overnight. Just leave them out and let that oil just do its trick and get that nice and conditioned again. And then tomorrow morning when you wake up, just wipe them right down if there's any oily spots left, and start over fresh the next day using your wonderful wood utensils. You know I'm a fan, and I'm a fan of Mexican food. This was a good day. Love all this stuff. Hope you'll try this recipe at home. Love every bite. This is Cooking Today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by West Rock Coffee Company. Kitchenware is provided by Una Mays. Groceries provided by Harps, Hometown Fresh. Online Elements sponsored by Fayetteville Farmers Market.